Welcome back to Behind the Seams. I'm your host, Michelle Washington. Today, we're sitting down with designer Dashawn Dekle of Black Swan. His designs are disruptive, intentional, but definitely not ordinary. So, do not adjust your screens because the fashion revolution is being televised. Dashawn.
Hi, Michelle.
I've been waiting to get you here.
I've been waiting to come.
So, where are you from? You know, I gotta ask. I just might as well get that question out of the way.
Originally, I'm from Killeen, Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Next to Fort Hood or Fort Cavazos or whatever they call it now.
Oh, wow. How was that growing up?
It's a military town, so it's cool. I mean, it's a big melting pot. But I just was surrounded by a lot of diversity for the most part.
Awesome. Now, you know I have to ask you about your brand, Black Swan.
Yes.
I mean, this is disruptive, okay? And I know with all intentions, so you got to tell me more about Black Swan.
Well, so Black Swan started off as like a identity for me. I had went through a lot like 2 years ago. And there was a moment where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna transform myself.
Okay.
So that's where Black Swan came in. And it's like a big spiritual meaning to it. So it was more of like a wake up call for me. So after I made my first piece, I was like, oh wait, there's like something here. So after creating a bunch of pieces, I realized like there was like a missing, I guess, space in the Austin fashion scene for the kind of designs I was doing. So I was like, well, I'll just fill that space in. And I like to think my brand is like organized chaos or like elevated casual. It's like how I categorize it.
Organized chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right. So I've seen your work and obviously I'm impressed.
Thank you.
But what I want to know, did you teach yourself to sew or
Yes.
how did that? You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I think I got my first sewing machine when I was about 15 or 16. And it was crazy because I didn't want to make clothes. It was mainly because I was so tall and skinny at a young age. I still am tall and skinny, but all my pants were either super wide or super long, but it never fit me. So this guy in high school tailored my pants and I was like, oh, what is that, you know? So then I found out sewing and all that stuff and I started tailoring my own pants. And then from that point on, it's just been learning how to do whatever I can with the sewing machine.
You got your first sewing machine at 15. Mm-hmm. Was this a birthday wish,
No.
a Christmas present?
I think I was working at Little Caesars at the time, and I saved up like $40, and I went to my Goodwill, and there just happened to be a sewing machine there. It's crazy because now when I go to Goodwills, there's like no sewing machines. So I got one, it happened to work. I learned how to thread it and all that stuff, and then the rest is history.
You taught yourself to thread the machine?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm at a loss for words. All right, this is impressive.
Thank you.
So the journey between your first sewing machine at 15 to what you have now is?
So, oh man. Okay, so 15, 16, I discovered it. About 17, 18, my senior year, I started understanding like there's better equipment out there. So I bought my first machine. I think I still have it. It's a black Genome machine, and it was like leather graded because I wanted to get into making shoes at a young age, right?
Okay.
Like, because I was really big into like Jordans and sneakers, and I used to watch these people on YouTube do it, and I was like, oh, I can do that, you know? Yeah, no, I couldn't, but I did try. So I got that machine about 18, 19, And then I was going to college for computer engineering. I was in my dorms and I was still sewing stuff. I kept that machine for a while. I got my first embroidery machine, like home embroidery machine, about the same age. I think I got that off Facebook for like $200. And then it wasn't until I would say recently where I started investing in myself. So I think last year or 2 years ago, I got my first industrial machine.
Wow.
Off of Facebook. For $200.
Facebook shopping.
Man,
okay.
it's crazy. I got that for $200, and then I got a leather machine for $700. A lot of my stuff is like pre-owned, but like I'm very craftsy, so like I just learn how to fix it if it's broken, and it's been working ever since.
So you really, with all of that equipment, you still were teaching yourself how to work an embroidery machine, an industrial sewing machine. All right, that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
You know that it's like a motor of a moped.
Yes, very dangerous.
That can sew through bones.
Yes.
Okay, you live dangerously. I got it.
On the edge.
Okay.
Sure.
When you're designing and you're creating these new designs for Black Swan, how much is Dashawn Dekle?
I would say, at least with this collection, a lot of it is, again, like I mentioned before, I went through a lot of like heartbreak and pain through family, friends, and relationships. So like whenever I design, I just like kind of channel that energy in there. And I'm a very emotional person, not in terms like I don't cry a lot, but I feel like a lot of my feelings, right? So that reflects in all my designs, because I'm like, as I'm doing it, I'm feeling and processing what I'm going through.
Wow.
And it just turns out to be really great pieces of art. And you know, my medium is fashion, but like before I used to paint or like build stuff, and all of it would apply. I would just put a part of me in whatever I'm doing, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I noticed that there's a theme in your recent collection. I believe you call it the Celestial Cowboy.
Yeah.
You need to tell me more about that.
So the Celestial Cowboy explores the concept of like balance. I keep referencing it, but like I said, I went through a lot, and I kind of, instead of learning that like I was a victim of whatever or a perpetrator of whatever, I just realized like there's a good balance of both. Like you can't have happiness without sadness, and you can't have anger without like glee. Like, you know what I mean? Everything's just a balance, and I think you should treat it all the same. You know, you shouldn't just avoid sadness because it's sad and it hurts, because you need sadness in order to be happy. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
And then vice versa. Like you shouldn't glorify happiness because like it's temporary. So like that's what the whole collection explores, and that's down to like the videos and stuff that I make, because I sew, but I also make videos that like kind of complement my pieces, and a lot of it just go hand in hand together about the whole, you know, balance thing.
I've noticed that you are a content creator with your brand or for your brand, and by the way, it looks very professional.
Thank you.
So you taught yourself to do
Yes,
that as well.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so how has your journey been pairing your Black Swan with being a content creator?
I will say it's been a big learning curve. So like, you know, whenever you make clothes, that's all you want to do is just make clothes, right?
Right.
Or do whatever your craft is, and then you have to remember like, oh wait, I have to press the record button. So it's just finding out again the balance between like, okay, what's worth recording, what's worth making that time to record, and then what's worth just focusing on the craft. And I'm learning that I can't do it all on my own. So I've had friends. I have a really good friend. Her name's Valentina, who's been helping me a lot with the social media and content creation. And it takes like a weight off my shoulders. And I know as I go through all of this, I'll find more people to help me out and help me get my vision across while also still being focused on being creative.
But I think you've noticed also that it's very important to your followers, who are your customers as well, to see what you do as you're going through the process.
Yeah.
They've been with you on this journey, and that has to be encouraging.
Oh, it is for sure. I think it's mind-blowing like even being here right now is just like, wow. Like, okay, what I'm doing is working for for some reason, you know, other than I know I put in the work, but it's just anybody could do it, you know, I feel like. So it's nice to know I have people behind me supporting me, and it's nice to know that like when I record or whenever I do my pieces, it's going to be appreciated by someone.
It's appreciated,
Yes.
very much so. And you mentioned your inspiration, you mentioned points of feelings and pouring yourself into your work. Is there a vulnerability a part of your work? Is there something in your life experience that goes into your work?
For sure. Like all the time. It's actually been more of a challenge trying to like separate the two. But
Okay.
it's nothing I'm like shy of. Like I actually want that conversation to be had. Like I want people to be like, oh, you know, what did this mean? Or like, why did you do it like this? Because it just opens up a conversation. And I think it's interesting seeing how people interpret what I do for themselves, and then like it also teaches me like more about myself. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I'm not scared of feelings. I think everybody needs to feel their feelings and not reject it. And like if my art is the reason why people can do that, I feel like I did my job, you know?
Okay. If we're going to notice the nuances of your designs, what are some of the symbolisms and areas in your designs that opens up those kind of conversations?
That's a really good question. Well, I would say I'm very detail oriented, right? Like
Okay.
I'm really about like the smallest details make the bigger picture. So for this celestial cowboy theme, a reoccurring thing has been stars, right? And the whole idea of the stars being a part of my pieces, they're like representative of emotions because there's just so many emotions, you know? So if there's so many emotions, they're just like the stars in the sky, like all of them play a part in being the bigger universe of it all. Again, that's like reflective of my designs. All my details that I put in there are very purposeful and meticulous, but it's not for just to do it. It's like it brings it all together. So like whenever people like compliment my outfits or my designs, I'm like, in my head, I think it's because the details give it its pizzazz, you know what I mean? If I didn't have the details, I feel like it wouldn't be as collective as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are there areas of how you came into being the Black Swan Designs life experiences that helped you make this brand what it is? For me, when I do creative work, there's an amount of being vulnerable. And like you were saying earlier, you have to not be afraid of having those vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
When I go through my own fashion/media journey, there are highs and lows. There is loss of family. There is loss of income at some points.
Yeah.
But when you get to those lows, sometimes that's the breaking point that takes you to a new level of inspiration. And if you don't mind sharing, what have been those moments for you?
I can think of like a few pivotal points in my life. So I could say the seed that was planted was during my sophomore year of college, where I just kind of felt lost. Like I was pursuing a degree that like I knew was gonna make money and I had somewhat of an interest in, but I knew it wasn't my passion. So I went through a lot, like day by day, just feeling lost. And I was still sewing and stuff, but it was just more like, oh, that's not gonna make no money. You know what I mean? You always hear that narrative, go to school first, make money, then do what you want. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense. And then it wasn't until I was about 23, 24, where I went to go move in with my dad. Because I moved out early, so I was paying bills, which means not having any money, which means stressing all the time, working all these jobs while going to school, you know, the American dream. And I moved in with my dad, and again, it was crazy. My sewing machine was with me throughout this whole thing. And it's like, it was in front of my face this whole time. But I had moved in with my dad, and it was cool, everything's worked out, but you know, when you move in as an adult with other adults, things start to, you know, get a little conflicty.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, especially with family. So after that, something happened. It was a family dispute, and I ended up getting thrown out the house. So after I got thrown out, the first thing I grabbed was my sewing machine. I didn't even really grab clothes or nothing. I drove like 4 hours to the nearest beach, got me a motel, and I just like was sewing for like 2 days straight.
But wait, you grabbed your sewing machine before anything else?
I was like, wait, I should probably go grab my toothbrush too.
Yeah, at least.
But no, I just grabbed my sewing machine, grabbed the material I needed, and just like I drove. I was in Georgia, so I drove to North Carolina to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, and I was just like turned off my phone. I was just sewing, and then after that, I sat at the beach and just did that for like a few days. And it was at that moment I was like, you know what? This is it. Like, I should probably do this for my life, you know? And it's just been running ever since. I did go back to school for UX design because I wanted to do something design oriented. And then it was this year when I was like, you know what? I think it's taking off enough to where I can just go at it full time. So,
whoa,
yeah.
Wait, so you're saying you're full time designing?
Yeah, well, I still work on the side.
Okay,
right?
Okay, all right.
You gotta fund the business somehow. But yeah, that's my career now, like all just design. Yeah.
Man, well, when you grabbed that sewing machine and headed at the door, I know you had to grab some fabric. Because you were sewing.
Yeah. I think I was working, at the time I was working on patterns, like learning how to make patterns. Again, like anything that I discover, I have to learn it myself. Or I get to a point where like, oh, I need to pay someone else to do it. So once I figured out what pattern making was and making your own pants, I had extra, I think, sheets from like Goodwill again. And I just grabbed those. And then I grabbed scissors, sewing thread, and then paper, like rolls of paper so I can make the pattern. Then I just brought that to the hotel and I just experimented. Yeah, I have like a whole journal. I wish I brought it actually, but it's like a whole journal documenting everything that I did.
I tell you, that already is a breakthrough right there. When in the middle of something going on in your life, you grab the machine, you grab fabric, and you sewed your way through it. I think that was your calling you at the, okay.
It was like a wake-up call for sure. I was like, wait, what am I doing with my life? Like, this needs to be it right here.
So, now that your business is, and I'm calling it a business, and I'm saying it's going to scale, because this is a vision already coming into fruition, as we say.
Thank you.
What do you see as that 5-year plan for Black Swan?
Whew. You know, I don't know. I live in the moment a lot of the time, but as of recently, with things happening and moving very fast, I have to consider the future. In 5 years' time, I hope it's like a sustainable business by itself. I hope I'm not the only person working on it, because as much as I love it, like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work. I wouldn't have it any other way though. But yeah, in 5 years, I hope I'm making positive income. I'm hoping I am reaching out to people and having people feel good in my designs, and like it just reached to people I never knew it could reach to.
I like the way you said that. You said sustainable business. This tells me you have a business plan even though you have not said it out loud.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Like I said, anytime I'm pursuing something, I try to not do it too ignorantly. Like, I just know information is so free now and out there. It's like you're losing if you don't go find it yourself. So,
say that again. Say it again.
Look, information is free and you're losing if you don't find it yourself. That's all I'm gonna say.
I noticed that you love to wear your own designs, and a lot of designers, you'll see those big couture designers, they're not wearing their designs. You are wearing your designs.
Yes.
So, okay, tell me, what's going on with the line?
So today, I'm wearing, I believe these are curtains from Macy's.
Oh, snap.
Yes.
Oh, curtains.
Yeah, so I made this vest with the lining, you know, and then these pants, you can't see it, but they're really big, flowy pants. Again, I think they're curtains.
We'll see them later, but wow.
Yeah. So, like, a lot of the times when I'm feeling experimental, instead of spending a bunch of money, I just go to Goodwill, because there's a bunch of material there. So, and it helps out the environment, keeps it out the landfills and all that stuff.
Check your out. Sustainable all the way.
You already know. And I don't know why designers don't wear their own stuff. My thing, this all started because I was making clothes for me.
Okay.
So then it's like, why wouldn't I still wear my clothes? Plus, it's free advertising. So, you know.
Walking down the street getting orders.
Yes.
Okay.
You know how many people would come up to be like, oh my God, I love your outfit. I'm like, oh, well, follow my page since I made this, you know. It's really nice.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Now, here's the other thing that's also awesome. You have taken your brand from not just clothes. You are doing bags.
Yes.
Okay, those are impressive.
Thank you,
impressive bags.
Thank you. Yeah, the bag thing that happened this year, way back when. I've always been infatuated with Louis Vuitton. I don't know if it's because of their branding or their marketing or their campaigns, but just something about their presence is really cool to me. So I was like, oh, I can't wait to do a collab with them one day. And I always was like, oh, I have to wait till I get to a certain point. But then last year I was like, wait, why am I waiting? I could just try it. So I looked up a few YouTube tutorials and did research on bag pattern making, and I just made a bag, and it turned out so nice.
It did.
Everybody loves it, and it's blew my mind. I was like, oh wow, okay, I can make bags now. I got a few more designs cooking up, you know, soon to come out this year, but I want to make more accessories. Like, I don't want to just be, I'm trying to find that balance between like specializing in something and also just having a good breadth of like abilities, you know.
An assortment.
Assortment, yes. So I make ties. Like, I didn't make this tie, but I made a tie for my brand. I want to get into brooch making. Like I said earlier, I wanted to make shoes. I just want to at least do everything once to see and then determine whether or not it's like good to pursue or not.
You need a staff.
I know. Oh my gosh.
At this point, you clothes, accessories,
videos.
Yeah, you need a staff.
Yeah, it's happening. It's gonna happen soon.
I believe it will. Okay, so I know your family's proud of you to see how much you're doing. You said that people are like, oh, look what's going on. Yeah. All right, that has to make you smile.
Yes, it does. I mean, like, it's crazy. I feel like everybody around me knew that this was gonna happen to me. They were waiting for me to find out, you know. So for a lot of them, they're like, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm just happy it's finally happening. And I'm like, wow, I'm surprised, but like, hey, you know, someone believed in me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe in you too.
Thank you.
So it's coming true. It's coming true.
Thank you.
So for those who have still not found their way, or they're struggling because they feel like, I don't know enough, or maybe this industry isn't for me, what would you tell that person?
What you say is true. That's what I would say. I feel like everything that you say is what it is. So if you sit there and tell yourself you can't do this, then of course you can't, you know. But you have to tell yourself, no matter how crazy it seems, no matter how far-fetched it seems, you really have to tell yourself, like, I am this, I can be this. And I feel like that just subconsciously transform your mindset to be like, okay, well, if I am this, then how do I become that? Which goes into the whole information diving thing. So I think it starts off with self-talk and telling yourself you can do something. And then after that, I feel like the rest kind of follows suit, you know? Because once you're like, oh, I'm gonna be a designer, it's like, okay, what does it take to be a designer? Then you look up that, and then you find more things to look up, and then you just kind of go into this thing. So you're like, oh, okay, I now know enough where I'm comfortable to do something. And then my second thing to that, failure is going to happen. Like, do not try to avoid it. If anything, seek it. Because the more you fail, the more likely you'll end up succeeding. And you only can learn from your failures. But if you let your failures stop you, then like, what's the point of it all? You know what I mean?
Okay, well, lock in.
Yeah, clock it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are already talking about the power of the word. Speaking it into life. What you say is powerful.
Yes, very.
And if people knew this, think about how much power people would speak into themselves every day.
The amount of energy wasted on pointless things, and I see people waste their energy, and I'm just like, if you literally took like 3 seconds to transform that into yourself, you'd be you be where you want and further. Like, it kills me when I'm talking to people and they're like, oh, it's so cool that you're doing this, and like, oh, I wish I could do that. I'd be like, you can, like, what's stopping you? You know what I mean? And like, I try not to sound too like, I guess prestigious in that way, because I am pursuing what I want to do. But I also let people know, like, I'm still broke, like I still have a 9-to-5, I still fail, but like I'm not gonna let any of that stop me from doing what I want to do.
That's what I want to hear.
Cause like life is going life, so you might as well. Life is crazy, so you might as well be crazy doing life. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right.
Be crazy doing what you want to do.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I feel like you saying the word to me too. I'm feeling this. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
This was meant to happen.
Yes, and what? That's a whole nother thing. Like, oh, you're just gotta look. Everything's already set out. You just gotta go get it, man. Like, I was always gonna end up here. Me and you were always gonna end up here. Whether it was me interviewing you or the vice versa. But this was always gonna happen. So I just needed to do what I needed to do to get here. That's how I also live with no regrets. Like, cause if none of that didn't happen, I would not be here today.
Okay.
So, very thankful, very grateful.
We're grateful too. Anything you want to say to our viewers? Any last words?
Yes. Follow your dreams. Don't wait for permission to follow them. Do what you can and do all that you can. And your passion is waiting for you. You just have to go find it. And you can find me at theblackswan.com. That's THEBLKSWN.com. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And viewers, just remember, the fashion design industry and fashion industry in general can be a mountain to climb, but when you reach the peak of success, it was worth every stitch.
Every stitch. Oh, and step, stitch, all of that in between. Yeah.
All that.
All that.
And remember what I like to say, a smile is always in style. Keep it fashionable.